welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with our main topic today. Well, as part of the celebration of Gates of Charity, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi inspected on Sunday morning the largest humanitarian convoy that is directed for 1 million families all over the country. The presidential spokesperson, Ambassador Bassam Radi, made the announcement, adding that the celebration is organized by the Long Live Egypt Fund along with the Ministry of Social Solidarity in the new administrative capital on the occasion of the World Charity Work Day. To shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to host this morning in the breakfast show Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, Minister Commercial. Good morning, Ambassador Ayoub.
Good morning to you and to the viewers.
Well, good morning to you, sir. Well, Ambassador Ayoub, yesterday was really a historical day because President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is continuing a series of initiatives and projects concerning the Egyptian families to raise the standards of the citizens. Yesterday, the inauguration of the largest humanitarian convoy also is an important print in the project that is implemented by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
We are very pleased. This is one of the most important initiatives. Why I say very important? Because it touches the lives of 1 million families. This means at least 5 million persons are involved and are beneficiaries of these important initiatives.
Yes.
Where do they live? They don't live in Cairo. They live in the countryside, in the remote areas, in the areas which are badly needing the community service which is done by the government, Ministry of Social Solidarity, NGOs, and the private sector, and sometimes investors. We need to encourage all these organizations to put their hands together to support the initiative by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi.
Yes.
We are in much need. Why? Because many people in the countryside are in dire need to direct support and help by these organizations, whether private or public. And when they find that the government is lending them a hand, they feel they can be a productive force in the community, not just consumers, but rather producers. This is what we are always caring for.
Yes.
When they are producers, then the unemployment rate comes down, the inflation rate will be stabilized, and many things. When you are raising the standard of living, so you are changing the people from consumers to producer, and this is the aim, the final aim of this initiative,
yes,
the raising the standard of living of the people in the countryside and in the remote areas.
Yes, you've just mentioned, Your Excellency, the NGOs and non-governmental sectors, the coordination between it and the Ministry of Social Solidarity.
I will give you an example.
Yes, please.
Coordination,
yes,
and cooperation between non-governmental organizations and the government is vital for both of them. Why I say vital for both of them? For example, Ministry of, let's say, Health and Population, when they cooperated with the Rotary clubs in Egypt, for example, I give you an example, to constitute, establish, and send a medical convoy to Qarsaya Island in Giza. Qarsaya Island is in dire need of every kind of support, of every kind of help.
Yes.
Basically, they need the medical help. So, Rotary clubs, 14 Rotary clubs, sent a convoy of 12 medical specializations to help the people from A to Z, diagnosis, treatment, and giving medicine, and those who needed to be referred to further operations, they were taken care also by these Rotary clubs. The end result is that more than 30,000 people are benefiting from just one convoy, which was done in July this year.
Yes.
So the Rotary clubs, I mean the NGOs, are playing a vital role, and the government needs them, and they need the government. Why?
How do you see the act of the government encouraging the NGOs?
When Ministry of Population or health, Ministry of Social Solidarity.
Yes.
When they give us information about where our support is badly needed, please go to, let us say, Al Arish, or to Suhag,
Yes.
or to El Bihira, or to Suhag, for example. They need this and this and this. So they are giving us a lead, and at the same time, they are informing the government that these clubs or this NGO is going there to support in this specific area. So the government paves the way and makes it easier for us to do our work, which we are financing it, which the benevolent societies and charitable societies are lending their hand and putting their hand together to do something for the people who need at the time of need. We have seen it in Hurghada when there were floods, and Ras Gharb when there were floods there.
Yes.
a couple of years ago. We have seen this year, just in the largest year, when they sent medical convoy to Qarsaya island in El Giza,
Yes.
just about 30 or 40 kilometers from here, with several projects, which I will give you another example. We know that literacy or illiteracy rate in Egypt could be for 23-25% as the official figures.
Yes.
So Rotary clubs focus on concentrated language encounter to change, giving them chance to be literate.
Yes.
Instead of being illiterate. When you are giving these people this concentrated language encounter to raise their standard and make them literate, we focus on women. Why we focus on women? Because the woman is the cornerstone of the family.
Yeah.
When she is literate, she tends to make her husband or her children or even her parents literate. And
Yes.
so it has multiple effects on the community. This is one thing. The other thing is that when we are giving, let's say, wheelchairs to 450 persons in Bani Suef, this happened. Also, I was a part of it. When we are giving them, so we are changing the lives of people from being desperate to hopeful. This is what we do, to give them glimpse of hope, give them the ability to move and to help themselves. When we are helping them to help themselves, so we are changing them from people in need to people who live to their neighbors and to the people in other villages and in the adjacent
Yes.
governors.
Yes.
This
So
is very
the-
important. Yes, please.
So the NGOs really is playing a very good role and a very important role. So how do you think the role, the important role played by the Long Live Egypt Fund, which is cooperating, organizing this event, and also is cooperating with the Ministry of Social Solidarity?
Long Live Egypt.
Yes.
Inaugurated about 7 years ago with the aim of collecting 100 billion Egyptian pounds, is one of the most important initiatives outside the budget, the official budget. So giving it mobility and flexibility to go to the people in need and give them what is needed now.
Yes.
And in a very reasonable way, and in all cases we find that Long Live Egypt or Tahya Misr has done a lot as far as the countryside is concerned, as far as the remote areas are concerned, as far as the villages in Egypt, especially in the areas like the Upper Egypt or South Egypt, who was in dire need of this help. So we need all to help or support Tahya Masr or Long Live Egypt, because it helps all the 104 million inhabitants of Egypt, and we are proud what they have done until now, and I'm sure that they will do more in the very near future.
Yes. So, Ambassador Ayoub, how do you see the housing initiative for all Egyptian citizens in meeting the plan of the Sustainable Development Goal of the year 2030?
SDG, Sustainable Development Goals,
Yes.
2030, is one of the most important initiatives which we should work together to attain together and to reach this goal. Why? Because we find that the growth rate of the population is a little bit very high. I will say not high, but very high.
Yes.
We need to control this population growth rate.
Yes.
Because all the development projects which the government is doing in the last 7 years, we found a part of it is eroded by the growth in population. We need growth rate, controlling growth rate of the people, so that we can help them, so that they have proper education, proper health care, and proper other amenities which they all need. But when there is a pressure on the government or increase in population, people should do their role. It is very important that the families should do their role. Enough is enough. The government has been very lenient, or say very, very humanitarian, and does not want to force anything. But there is a limit. People need to know their interest. Their interest is not my personal interest, but rather that of me and my neighbors and my community.
Yes.
So the government is doing a wonderful job in this respect. And the people should also play their role in controlling growth of
Yes.
population for every family, especially in the remote areas, especially in the countryside and in the villages, which when a family has 5 or 6 or 7 children, how will they have proper education and proper health care? Any government cannot do that.
Yes.
So they have a role for themselves to control population growth, so that we can enjoy the economic growth which you are enjoying despite the COVID.
Yes, we see now some videos for the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi while touring or inspecting the projects yesterday. Actually, Your Excellency, Ambassador Ayoub, what do we expect from the Gates of Charity in the coming years or months? Its ability in developing housing, education, improving services, sports, and also training centers.
The government in the last 7 years, will I say, or almost 7 years, have done a lot as far as infrastructure is concerned, as electricity is concerned, and in the basic needs of the community are concerned. So the people have a role to play in supporting the government efforts in this respect, and also playing their role as far as changing themselves to be a productive force in the community. We need that every citizen is a productive cell, if you can say a cell,
Yes.
in the community, because many people are waiting help. No, please don't wait help. Move so that you get help.
Yes.
This is something very important. We have to change the mindset of people gradually, of course, and giving them education through the mosques, through the churches, through the media. All this should cooperate together to change the mindset of people to being productive force,
Yes.
being producers, being supportive, being taking care of their own community, of their own environment. I say, when we find some Rotary clubs are growing trees in some areas, I said to them, please grow fruit trees. When
Yes.
you grow fruit trees, people will eat. Yes, you will eat. Let them eat. It is free. Let them eat. Lula da Silva in Brazil, this was part of his election campaign. Grow trees and people, fruit trees. They said, the people will eat the fruits. This is what I want. Let
Yes.
them eat the fruit of the trees which you grow.
Yes.
So it has a multiple effect as far as the people, when they find that the affluent community or let's say the business community and persons who are rich enough, they can lend a hand in paving a road, for example, or growing some trees which is giving shade and in many cases giving
Yes.
fruits. So we need to cooperate together to do something which we will all benefit from, and at the same time we minimize the risks of unemployment. There is unemployment all over the world, and here in Egypt we also have unemployment. The government is trying to create small or micro projects, especially in the countryside. When they give microcredits, and we have done in Rotary this thing, we are giving microcredit to the families to enable them to have income in an honorable way. At some stage, some years ago, we went to El Fayoum to give them buffaloes. Every penniless family, I will say penniless and landless family, we give them with another NGO a buffalo. The buffalo give them, give this family a baby and give them milk, and so it enables them to have decent life, but on condition that they will not slaughter the buffalo, of course, but rather feed it. So there is a lot of work and a lot of initiatives by the private sector and the NGOs to help the government efforts as far as raising the final aim is raising the standard of living and helping the people to help themselves when we are doing this important effort in literacy and education, health and combating and combating diseases, supplying clean water to the people.
This is very important.
Very important.
Yes,
very important
this is
for
a
all
very
of us.
important point, of course.
Taking care of the mother and child, and also giving literacy lessons, which is very important. I find that one of the most important aspects of what this NGO has done, the Rotary has done, is giving the literacy in the countryside and especially in the remote areas where they need everything. I have been to Marsa Matruh. I have seen them. What the government there, the community needed a well for clean water. Rotary Club of Alexandria something have dug a well for them to have clean water. So 10,000 or 12,000 people living around this well are living, have easy access to clean water and potable water. This is a very small example of what the NGOs and the private sector can do to help the people. When they are helping the people will be healthy enough to work very well and give support to the NGOs or to the businesses which have established this well, for example, or this literacy lessons, or this, for example, giving literacy lessons at some stage. We gave literacy lessons to the police force. Going them, for those who come from the countryside, illiterate, we give them lessons, and so they are literate now, and they tend to be more receptive of the orders. They are better understanding, and they implement the orders in a reasonable way and civilized manner.
Yes, I thank you very much for coming today. I really had the pleasure and the honor to host you today in the breakfast show. Thank you so much, Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, Minister Commercial. I really had the pleasure to host you.
Thank you, and to the viewers.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I leave you with other segments coming up next in the breakfast show.